turn my head this stuff, I had trouble painting it because I didn't, pick up on the painting first. So I usually tell folks, spend a couple of weeks on your own, do it, in a mirror at home, practice those painting techniques, and then you'll know when you paint the big stuff whenever you're, coating folks, latex and gelatin and all those other things. That does a really nice job depending upon where you're going to be. We'll determine whether these are the right choice for you. But water-based paint, they're water-based because they're activated with water and they're cleaned out by water. So whenever you think, about the types of paints, if they're water-based paints, it means they're activated by water. Spray it, apply it, and then you wash it off with water. What most folks use in haunted houses, and what I use in haunted houses, are typically grease paints because they're pretty durable. And grease paint, they're grease-based, and they need a grease-based remover for the most part. You can usually clean them off with baby wipes because there's baby oil in baby wipes. Or if you have a grease-based remover, like Albaline is kind of my old school. I love this stuff. Pond's cold cream too. Pond's cold cream. Yep. So if you're using grease paint, you got to have a grease-based remover to take it off. The alcohol-based paint. And so if you get a couple pounds of these, you look at this and open it up and say, all right, so
there's nothing in there.
Yeah, there's nothing in there. You're like, wait a minute. There's like nothing in there. So you buy it and you're like, that costs $40 for this palette, but it feels like there's almost nothing in there. But this alcohol-based paint is one that is alcohol activated and alcohol removed. All right, so if you go up to Drug Mart, you get like just a regular rubbing alcohol and spray it in, it's not going to activate it. You need to go really heavy alcohol. You can buy, and I think that I bought, usually just 99% alcohol.
Amazon. No, you can hardly find it anywhere locally in the stores.
Amazon is dirt cheap.
Yeah.
Dirt cheap, but what I just do, I put it in a bottle, spray it and activate it.
Can you get that at the hardware stores?
You can buy it locally, but you have to be on a search for it. I don't remember where I got mine.
We tried last year to find it some.
Really?
Yeah.
91. Yes, 99.
I'm not going to get crazy with color. I'm going to use just a couple. I'm going to just start with some dark powders. There's dark white. They have flesh tones. They have it in, they call it plains dust. You got pinks and all kinds of different options. Then there's zombie blues and a bunch of different colors over there as well. But with the powders, the one thing that I always encourage is, and I trust that when you ask for it, what they'll do is they'll kind of portion it out. But for my own kit, I save a bunch of, over the years, I've just saved like the tops of butter jars and stuff because I think they make great palettes, especially for powders. So I'm just going to pull out a couple of these for the powder demonstration. It's strange, so there's nothing magical about powders. They go a long way, so as I'm going to do a makeup, that is way more than I need. That's enough for a lot. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pour some back in here. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to be dipping out of here. Because if somebody's got that, that cold, this can will hold that cold, and be ready for the next person. So you always want to put it in just a little separate area. Believe me, I've seen, and it doesn't really make sense to use a makeup powder as a palette. A lot of people do that because there's germs here too from sneezes. So I usually will grab some of these little palettes. Again, I'm talking about, you see, like there's almost none in there, and that'll do not only a face but the chest and hands too. So you're just talking about just a very small amount of powder. That makes sense? I mean, look at you're like, how do you do a whole face with that? But just a very small amount of powder. Now I'm going to put a little bit of black and a little bit of white just in this little palette. And again, what questions you guys have as I'm just kind of preparing anything? You want it to be a soft line, you just kind of load your brush. All right, nothing hardly any powder there. Boom, so your brush. And your question?
Yeah, what's an astringent?
Astringent would be just like a face cleaner, like Seabreeze. I mean, if you go to any of the stores here, you'll find, it certainly has kind of an airbrush feel because of the softness of it. If I wanted to get really detailed on it, I could go in and grease paint over the top of it. Again, this is powder, so it's it's going to be pretty fragile if you just leave it like this. But what I'm going to do here is you'll close your face. I'm just going to hit over the top of the barrier spray. And as Glenn said, if you're using a barrier spray or a no sweat, you want to make sure that's dry. You don't want to pat it off. You want to let it dry. Yes.
Is it better to use powder under or over grease paint?
Over. Yeah. So what Glenn is talking about is if you're using maybe a light colored or flesh tone grease paint. All right, you put your foundation down. Then you can come in and you can go ahead and hit powder over the top of it. And then that's that's kind of the traditional way of using grease paint and powder. What I'm doing here is I'm just demoing powders. But if I wanted to, and if you would, just go ahead and walk down and just let us walk down. People take a look at. It's just soft. It feels very airbrush-like as that barrier spray dries. It's going to put a good seal on that. Right, so as he's touching it and stuff, it's not going to come loose on him, even after acting, and because they have just the natural bruise colors, your reds, your dark red, your purple, your green, your yellow, a bruise wheel, a cup, and butt fish. Anything on the side. Thing on the side. I wouldn't go too big because it lasts you such a long time. This will last you, if you're doing makeup on other folks, it's going to last you 5 or 6 years. If you're using makeup on yourself, it'll last you a decade. You'll probably throw it out because the makeup's going to break down before you run out of it. So, yeah, so it'll run you about a decade. So I usually go with the smaller bruise wheels, but it's a great thing to have in a kit. So as you're getting some brushes, you're getting some basic makeup, the bruise wheel is certainly a start. But what I'm going to do is I'm using Clown White. This is I think this is called, just my preference, white light. So it's not as heavy as the straight white. When I use grease paint, I'll usually just tap some on my fingers, right? And I kind of just pat. Just get this base down fast. I'm not going to get too crazy. If we were getting him ready for the house, we make sure that every spot of flesh tone was covered. But we're doing for demo, so we're just going to kind of pop it out. Again, I just tap my fingers in here. At this point, I can take a sponge, and kind of spread it out. Again, I just happen, to like to control more with my hands. So I'm just going to want to stay light. Again, I know that there's a contingent of clowns. For contingent of clowns, you are going to go heavy if you're using grease paint. You'll probably fill a sock with baby powder, and you're going to go really heavy, and it's probably mist and powder to put a really heavy clown on. But for most characters, I'm talking about just like Glenn had done a real light, believable coat of grease. I'm doing the same here with
Question when you said something.
eyebrow pencil. It gives me, I could do this with, I could scoop it out with, on the back of my hand and put it on with my hands as well. I could use a brush, or just kind of use this, and you can draw it, or you can just kind of even dot it on, kind of get the look that you want. And again, not trying to get anything here outside of just doing a quick demo. By pulling it down and moving it around allows me to get kind of the look that I'm going for. And I have never, this is the first time I've done makeup here on Kia. So, sometimes as you're working on somebody or working on yourself, you kind of discover the structure of somebody's face. But again, I'm just trying to demo quick. And he's got a really easy structure to work. If you don't have an easy structure, muscular structure, and then sometimes you have to kind of draw those lines. If you are seeing, I mean, there's a whole group of face painters out on YouTube and out there that do some really nice work, and they do a lot of the more of the kind of the comic book looks. Superheroes are really big, and you'll see that they're bouncing in and doing that quite a bit. And if you're taking a look at graphic novels, you could pull that open and you could use that as your inspiration to really paint a face. Graphic novels, they have strong lines, they're a great reference. You know, take pictures on your phone, bring them up with you. You can really clearly exaggerate kind of the anger lines. You can also get some good feel for expression lines. Eyebrows are a great way to show expression as well. A trick, which I learned along the ways, it was when you take the glue sticks, the non-toxic glue sticks, I could grab that glue stick and I could cover this eyebrow and powder it and cover the eyebrow so that it looks as though it's been shaved off. And at that point, then you can draw in. So the glue sticks and powder over the top will allow you to be real creative with an eyebrow. Allow you to, you know, erase it for your makeup as well. So you can kind of paint it in. Okay, what I'm going to do is you'll see right here, just because it's something that I am fond of, is some dotting. If you guys have watched Face Off, you'll see when they're working on makeup that there's often, they'll grab a large brush and they'll grab some paint. They'll load the brush when they do this.
Yes.
You see that? Sometimes, you know, grab a little toothbrush. Toothbrushes are good for that. Again, just get a toothbrush, a brand new one. The toothbrushes are really good for just, you know, spotting the different colors in there. Get some nice cut. Again, not trying to get too fancy here. But, yeah, there you go. So, hope that wasn't trying to make it fit out. Oh, okay. All right, so if you do just a quick walk down and add a little more color. Again, all I'm doing here is you saw that was super fast. I dropped just a layer of white grease paint. I like it's called Clown White Light, L-I-T-E, as that because it's a nice soft white. And again, just doing a quick throw some white, throw some just kind of dotting the darken, kind of pulling down the shadows. Again, this is just a cheap, you know, eyebrow pencil. You're gonna be sharpening these down quite a bit, you know, during the year, but this should last you a season or so. So it's $1 well spent. Again, we talked about the glue stick. You know, if I need replaced, but if I was using it, glue stick, I'd be going push it right across the eyebrow and powdering it, and then I can just go ahead and get rid of it and then draw in the expression that I want. It's a great thing. And
I find the glue stick actually helps with more facial hair too, instead of just the eyebrows.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know.
Like cover up your mustache, or whatever you have. If you don't want it to get ripped off, I say try to get it as smooth as you can with glue stick. Can't, the best you can.
so because I like the kind of the dyeing effect, I'm just going to go in here for a little bit of color. As I said before, you know, if you got a bunch of old brushes, as Jackie said, if you don't want to invest a lot of money, you can kind of use a cheaper one and more disposable. And those are great to tie together to make kind of a stippling instrument. If not, you can grab those sponges and cut them down and use that as a quick shortcut here as well. If I was drawing a different expression and I was doing you know, maybe something inspired by a graphic novel, or I was doing you know, some other type of character, I would be painting and drawing maybe opposite of the bone structure to create a different look. But again, I'm just for the sake of demonstrating, just doing some real basic here. Again, I'm using the back of my hand as a palette because you don't want to go too heavy here, because if you go too heavy, you're just going to get muddy. And